Good morning. Welcome back to Coffee and Colorful Conversation. Happy Wednesday. So, if you follow my coffee chat regularly, you know that I have been on a quest to find my hair salon and my nail salon in Florida. We've lived here for 3 years. This coming month, January, will be 3 years that we've lived here. And you know what it's like. You like the norm factor when you're living somewhere for a long time. I lived in my prior home for almost 25 years. So you have your dry cleaner, your doctor, your dentist, your local coffee shop or the Starbucks closest to you. You have your routines. And one of the hardest things about moving to another area is making connections and friends, because at this age, it's not like grade school where you're like, hey, want to play? Want to be my friend? So finding your people and people you have things in common with to socialize can be tricky. But I have found the hardest thing for me is getting those services that I know and love, and having that person. So I'm very fortunate that I connected with a really sweet woman at the spa near me that I love. Her name's Rosangela, and when I go, how are you? We catch up, and it's like the norm factor from Cheers. So I love that. So I go see her once a month. It's always a pleasant experience. It's never negative. They have my card on file at the front desk. So I come in, I'm greeted by my name. Everybody knows me there now because it's been 3 years of once a month for the most part, other than COVID. So I go in, I know where the locker room is. I have a special robe that they put in there for me because it has a more soft inside and it's not as hot as the other ones. So they make me feel special, they make me feel important, and they make me feel valued as a client. So that's that, and that's wonderful. So for my hair, as you know, I've gone to several places, and I found a girl in Sarasota that was awesome, and we became friendly, and she knew me, and she knew I was PIA when it comes to my color, and she let me boss her around with what she was going to do each time I went for a retouch, and we had a great relationship. And then she packed up and left to get into an RV and travel the country with her children, showing them the country. She's like, if they can't go to school during COVID, I want to teach them I'm going to homeschool them from each place. Instead of looking at the Grand Canyon in a book, they're going to look at the Grand Canyon from the edge of the Grand Canyon, which I think is amazing. So as much as I miss her, I really applaud what she is doing is awesome. Her kids are going to have amazing memories, and they're going to be really close with living that close for that long. So that was that. So I was supposed to be traveling home to PA for Christmas, and I booked a color appointment while I was going to be home because that's really my norm factor. It's my salon where I trained the girls. So I was so excited to get my hair done, even more so than celebrating Christmas. And we unfortunately have some COVID on the family circle that we were going to be with. So a lot of the get-togethers are now canceled. We were flying in just for that, so we're no longer going. But in the meantime, I had gone to get my nails done for my trip home. I was like, my nails are a mess. And I'm looking for just a natural nail that doesn't peel and break. I have super thin nails, and with doing any kind of hair, they're so thin that they'll get caught in either my hair or someone else's hair, and they tear and rip. So I don't do the big diva pointy nails. I don't do ombre designs and rhinestones and all of that. I just want a clean, nice looking nail, exactly what I have right now, short and to the point, and just, easily to work with, that I'm not going to get stains on with color. So I found after all these years that the powder dip works the best for me because it doesn't stain with color. So if you're a hairdresser and you're tired of having stained nails, the dip is amazing. So I finally found that works for me. But since I've been in Florida, I'm on my 5th salon that I'm trying to make my home. And each one I've left for different reasons, but this last one, I'm very conflicted because I really like my nails. So I took my daughter there last time she was here. We went for a pedicure and we called ahead and said we were coming. And then we were stuck in traffic. There was a big, it's called sanding ovations. They turned sand into these amazing sculptures. So we had to drive through the town where this big event was. So it was crawling bumper to bumper. And I'm like, crap. So owning a salon for 32 years and being on the other side of the late client, I'm very, very mindful of letting the person know, like we're really late. You can either tell us not to come or, wait for us, but you need to know that we're going to be late. So I reach out and the girl answers the phone, who it turns out was going to do one of our toes. And she was like, well, how late do you think you're going to be? And I said, well, the GPS says, and it was like 11 minutes. So she said, okay, no problem. And I hear a voice in the background saying, tell them to reschedule, tell them to cancel, don't tell them to come. So I was like, that's going to be uncomfortable when we get there, because again, being on the other side of it, I know there's going to be backroom bitching. Oh my gosh, these ladies are keeping us here late. I think it was maybe a Saturday, so it would have been like the last appointment on a Saturday. So I get it. I've been on the other side of that. So I could hear that woman saying, I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure? She's like, no, come. So my daughter and I go. My daughter's looking at me like, I'm surprised that you like this place, because it wasn't like the most brand new, sparkly clean, salon. But I said, Bryn, trust me, this is number 5. Like the other 4 were much worse. So we go in, we sit down at the pedicure throne, and they have this is a side note, the massaging chairs that you usually have. Well, they have one that squeezes your butt cheeks in like this way, keeps smashing them in, and then this thing that comes up in your butt, like literally up in your butt, comes up like this. And I'm like, can you turn the butt part of this off? Like, this is really upsetting. It was like beyond a normal chair massage. It was beyond like porno. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. So they helped me turn that off, and we're chatting with the girls, and they're young. They're the youngest ones in the salon. So being an owner, I get exactly what's going on. I'm like, these 2 are low man on the totem pole. They're the newest and youngest. So all the people that the owners of the salon and the other more seasoned people that have been there longer, like, you 2 are taking these late girls, we're out of here. So both girls were talking to each other while they're doing our toes, bitching and complaining about being left to not only do our toes, but they had to clean everything up. So the reason I'm sharing this is because this goes to nail salon, hair salon, spa, restaurants, any business. You should never chat in front of a paying client about any of the nonsense that goes on behind the scenes. If you want to bleed out clients and lose them left and right and wonder where the hell everyone is, if you're in your salon right now and it's Christmas week and you have any openings whatsoever, I want you to think about, did you behave like this in front of a paying client? Did you feel like you were friendly enough? I've been guilty of that, where it's a client I've been doing for a long time, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I start giving them the dish on what's going on behind the scenes, and I'm like, that's so unprofessional. I mean, it happens to all of us, but if you find yourself doing it on a regular basis, it's not okay. Your client is going to love it. She's going to soak it all in. I was watching, okay, I don't want to skip ahead. So that was that visit with Bryn. So they're bitching, and they're like, oh my gosh, they left us with all the side jobs, and we're the newest, and yada, yada. So it was okay. It was just Bryn and I and those 2. We laughed a lot. It was fine. So fast forward to this past week. I'm like, okay, I need to get my nails and toes done. I don't want to be that person that asks for like 2 days before Christmas, because I know it's going to be crazy. So I planned ahead, and I scheduled an appointment. The problem with the salons, the way they're set up in most nail salons, it's walk in and get whoever. And I really wanted to get the girl that I had last time, but I didn't know her name. They never tell you their name. So I got who I got. So I pull up, and these 2 girls are out in the parking lot smoking cigarettes and gossiping. And I'm like, I have a very strong feeling that one of them, if not both of them, are doing my services. So I walk in, and it's crowded, and they're winding down with some people, and they tell me to sit in the chair, and the butt thing goes on again. I'm like, can you please turn that butt thing off? And they're laughing, because I guess everyone says that. So it ends up being the girl that did Bryn's toes was doing my toes, And this other girl, who was the one that they were complaining about last time, who they said never wants to do anything, of course, is going to do my nails. So they both come in from smoking a cigarette, so they both smell. Like, I'm not a smoker, and I have a super sensitive nose. So I'm like, great. I have one rubbing my feet and one touching my hands that both reek of cigarettes. So I'm like, okay, that's strike one. So the older one that was doing my nails is on her Bluetooth, but I don't know that. She doesn't have a phone in her hand or anything. So she's wrapping my nails to get the old tip off. And I'm just sitting there, looking around, taking it all in. And across from me, this other girl was complaining to another girl. They were both visiting each other, both employees. And the girl in the chair was visibly uncomfortable. You could tell it was her first visit. She was so uncomfortable. She just kept looking at me like, are you hearing all this? And I'm just like, I'm used to it. Like, I've, worked in a salon my whole life. So I get what's going on. So apparently it was a holiday party after we were done. So this uncomfortable woman and myself were the last two clients, we thought, of the day. So the owner is prancing around and she's in the back curling her hair, and this one's doing this one's makeup. And they were all behaving like giddy girls going to the prom. They were having a party in the salon with each other, and they were putting on hair and makeup like they were going to, a ball, a New Year's ball. So they're all chatty and hyper and talking about all their things. And that didn't bother me as much. I could see it making the other woman really uncomfortable. So the one that's doing my nails starts talking, and nothing she was saying was making sense. It was like, the car. Yeah, that happened. Yeah, I know. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like trying to talk to her, like thinking she's talking to me. Here, she's talking to her boyfriend in the Bluetooth and not to me. So I'm like, no wonder the conversation's not making sense. Her phone was over in her station, but she must just have him on there, just talking to her while she's doing my nails. So I'm like trying to figure out what she's talking about, trying to figure out what's going on with the girl doing my toes. And the owner comes out and says, someone just called and booked 5 pedicures at 4:00. And there's like a salon-wide sigh. Oh, are you kidding me? We're having our party. Why would you book another set of pedicures? They're all going to come together. They're going to want to sit here forever. They're talking about these future random clients who they should be thrilled coming out of a pandemic that 4 more people want to pay them $65 for a pedicure plus a tip. And the girls that were doing my services were saying, they're going to give them to us because we have the least amount on the book today. We did the least today because they take turns. So now they're pissed that they're getting picked to make more money. I'm just sitting there and I'm just like blown away. And the coach in me and the teacher in me and the salon owner in me wants to do an intervention and be like, girls, when you get your W-2 at the end of the year and you see where you are versus what your potential was, if you looked at that as a gift and not a dread, imagine where you could be. Because they were commenting on my car. I pulled up and I had the top down in my car. I'm like, oh, you got a really nice car. It's a 2002. It's not a brand new Maserati, but I absolutely love it, and it is a beautiful car. So I'm like, how do you expect to get the nice car, the nice house, the nice anything, if you don't want to stay and you're supposed to work until 5:00. Like, it just happens to be that you're having a party after 5. So then it gets better. So now they're really grumpy. Now she's starting to file me really rough and she's getting mad. And I'm like, okay, I have like cuts on every finger from her taking it out on me that she has to do this other service. And she ends up talking to the girl doing my toes and keeps saying, I need a shot. You want to do a shot? Let's do a shot. And then she looks at me and says, do you want to do a shot? And I'm like, do a shot? Like, no, I don't want to do a shot. So I was like, no, I'm good, thinking that they're going to get the hint, like, and you shouldn't be either because you're working right now and you're doing my nails. So I finished the toes. The nail girl brings me over to her table. Here comes the shot glasses. They're lining up the shots. They're all doing shots, cheersing, saying, you sure you don't want one? It's really good. You'll love it. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. And now she's like drilling me and cutting me and all of this stuff. And I'm just like, is there like a hidden camera somewhere? So the reason I'm sharing is, it's a funny story. And of course I have to share that, but I'm driving home and I'm like, okay, this is this week's coffee chat because, how many people are thinking that it's okay to behave a certain way the longer a client is with us? That's only my second visit, so it was not a comfort thing. Then after her shot, she proceeded to tell me that she's saving up for a Brazilian butt lift and telling me that they told her to gain 10 pounds in her stomach so they could take the fat from her stomach and put it in her butt. And that, she doesn't know whether she's going to go through with it because she's 40 and she's blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, TMI, TMI, like, don't need to know about your butt, don't need to know about any of that stuff. So when we feel super comfortable and start oversharing, people will just quietly disappear. Those 4 other nail salons that I left, I didn't write them a letter apologizing for my ghosting. I just don't go back. The last one that I went to, always trust your gut when you're doing something new and you're like scoping things out. So I had a girl come to the house who does tarot card readings when my mom, sister, and niece were here because they love all that stuff. So she came to the house and I'm expecting this like older woman with all kinds of jangly jewels and almost like a, crystal ball kind of gypsy kind of looking woman, and this hot girl who's like in her late 30s with blonde hair, spiked heels, and a really short skirt comes walking in. I'm like, oh, interesting. So she does okay, right? She wasn't great. I wouldn't do it again, but she reads everybody's cards, and I'm looking at her nails when she's flipping my cards over, and I said, oh, your nails look really nice. I'm having a hard time finding somebody. So she gave me a recommendation that was 35, 40 minutes from me. And I was so annoyed with trying to find the right place that I was like, you know what? A personal referral is better than me just going blindly. And I want to stop right there because a lot of you are trying to get new clients and you're like, I'm just going to keep posting on Instagram my before and afters, and I'm going to keep, doing what I do to get new clients. Where for me, at my age, I know it's different for younger people, but I'm not looking on Instagram at people's nails. For me, I'm like, what's the closest to me? I find what's closest to me, and then I look up the reviews. And if I see any negative reviews, that's it. And then I usually give it one chance. If there's no negative reviews, I go once. If I have a good experience, I'll go back. If not, I don't. So that's how I find someone. So a personal recommendation will always trump a discount or an online thing for me personally. That's the way I find restaurants. That's the way I find doctors, dentists. All of that stuff is always a personal recommendation. So are you working your referrals hard enough? Are you utilizing your raving fans that are already in your salon saying, I would really love to have more clients like you. You're my favorite. I love when you come in. And I know you wouldn't be friends with anyone that would be, not a great client. So if you could share your experience with me, with your friends, I would really love that. And here's some referral cards. We got these cards made. My members in the Hair Color Secrets Insider know about these awesome cards. They have our salon. This is an old one. This is when we used to be Splash. But it's $20 gift card. And the reason it says gift card is I don't want it to feel like a coupon. I don't ever want a client to have to cut out a newspaper clipping, get ink all over their fingers to get a discount. A discount sounds cheap. You're going to attract that client that goes from place to place to place, depending on who has a coupon. This feels different. This feels like the referral has given them a gift. So we give these to our great clients and we say, take 5 of these, give these to people that you know would love us and we would love them. When we get this returned to us from your friend, we put a note in your file and then we reward our existing clients. This one is for $20. We reward our existing client that referred the person with $25. So imagine if everywhere you went, like if your nail girl gave you 5 of these cards, who are you not going to give this to if you can get $25 in free nail services just for mentioning that you love your nail girl? So that has been our number one thing my entire 32 years of owning a salon. We have never paid for a billboard or any kind of other advertising. This is what we do, and we are always booked and always busy. Now, this is getting them in the door. The professionalism and not doing shots in front of your clients is what keeps them there. If we have something going on and there's drama, it is not happening on that salon floor. I would fire instantly if a hairstylist had a Bluetooth ear in and was talking to their boyfriend while they were doing a client, it would be like, get your things and leave, because they know that's not cool and that's not professional. So check yourself. You know the saying, check yourself before you wreck yourself. You could be wrecking yourself with these simple little things that you think are funny and cool. The girl that I used to go to for waxing, she would talk about somebody else's private parts and what they had going on down there to me while I'm sitting there in a very uncomfortable position that's embarrassing to begin with, and I'm feeling self-conscious about her seeing everything, as much or more than my own husband or gynecologist, and she's oversharing what she saw on the last two people. And funny stories, but like not cool to share that with another client. I had a gynecologist, my first visit to a gynecologist, he overshared a really awful story about the girl that just left the room. And I was a young girl. I was like 20 years old, going for the first time, terrified, didn't know what to expect. And first of all, it's a man, so I was uncomfortable that it was a male doctor. And then he's like, oh, that last girl, it's not even professional enough for me to share the story. It was so bad. And I was just like, wow, what is he going to say about me when I leave? So don't be that person. Be the professional. Keep the conversation positive. If you have 3 kids at home with, throwing up and crapping and everything else going on, your client doesn't need to know that. You can just say, oh, we've some sick kiddos at home. It's been crazy. That's it. You can share that. But you don't have to share the nitty-gritty details and make other people feel uncomfortable. And my daughter always says to me, read the room, Mom. Sometimes when I teach, I can't read the room, and I'll say something. She's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you just said that. Because I often will say when I'm talking fast, things that I don't even realize that I'm saying. And she's like, Mom, that could be mistaken for something really bad. Like she's listening. I'm like, I'm sorry, I get excited and I don't know who I'm talking to, so you just have to be really careful. And stuff like that. And I don't love that. I don't love that we have to be so careful now, that everybody's so on edge about, being politically correct with every single word that you say. But, when you're being unprofessional. So just check yourself, keep as professional as you possibly can be, because those referrals are gold. That's constant streams of new clients and new income coming through the door, because you made that person, you gave that person the Norm factor. Norm used to walk into Cheers and everybody would turn around and say, Norm, and he knew his stool was going to be empty because nobody ever sat in it because it was Norm's spot. So people want that now more than ever. If this pandemic has taught us anything, it's people want that soft place to land, and they want community and to be around people and to have that, just hug from a distance of people that are familiar. It's an unprecedented time. We've never gone through something like this, and you don't realize how much your clients miss seeing you and having that. For us, we have amazing cappuccino and espresso machine. We have all the Starbucks flavors right from Starbucks. We can make a pumpkin latte, a mocha latte, hot chocolate. We can make anything that you can get at Starbucks, and people love that. When they're driving to get their hair done, they're not stopping. They're not adding that extra stressful stop to be able to get their beverage that they love and still get to us on time. They know they're going to get it when they come through the door. They know we're always going to have a snack for them. If they're coming from work, we always have prepackaged individual snacks so that it's not something that's sitting out that we have to keep refreshing and covering and all of that stuff. And that was pre-pandemic, we did that. So with the pandemic and not being able to serve even water or anything, and not having people be able to touch things they used to touch, and it's awful, but people miss that routine of that comfort level. And that's why we've been so successful. All of the staff that's there now, with the exception of 2 newer hires, have been there since the doors opened. And that says a lot. We've been open in that location, I think 23 years, something like that. And we have the same staff because we're mindful of the details. We make sure the place is spotless. There's never a hair in a brush. The barbicide doesn't have chunky things in it that look like really disgusting. I've seen some barbicides in other salons, and they really need a good changing. So be mindful of your capes. Your capes have holes in them that you cut. You cut the cape and you're like, oh, well, it's already cut. I'm going to cut it again. I'll keep using it. Do your towels have big bleach stains and big holes in them? I've seen that a lot of times when I'm going to different salons. So get some new towels. They're not that expensive. I'm actually checking out a new product called Scrummy. It's a disposable towel. And I want to try and figure out, monetize, the difference between a disposable, a very environmentally friendly, biodegradable. It's not something that's going to end up in a landfill. I can't imagine how awesome it would be to be able to just use the towel and chuck it and not do all the laundry that we do. I'm also checking out a foil machine that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. It spits out, it prints foils in the exact length, and it folds the top for you. If you're a fold over tail comb foiler, it does that for you. So those are two products. Stay tuned. I'm going to be jumping on and doing a demo with them. They're sending me the machine to check out, and I'm very excited to share it with you. So those are some things that, if you have ratty towels and you just don't want to have to keep buying new towels, and you don't want to have to keep having your assistant spend all of their time folding, tearing foils, folding laundry, and doing all that stuff, and actually learning so that they can get on the floor quicker. These are ways that you can do that. But you just have to keep checking in, keep going into your salon as if you're there for the first time. I do it now because it is like I'm there for the first time. I haven't been there. So when I go visit my daughter, I walk in and they're like, oh, here we go. Because I'm like, why is that there? Why isn't that there? There's dust on that vent. Get that off. Move that tray. That's going to trip somebody. Like, I am like HR. Like, I'm walking in and I'm like, why is this moved? Why is that? I'm very mindful of everything as the eyes of a client. So that's your coffee chat for today. Be professional. Don't do shots, even if it's Christmas. I get it. I get that they were having a party after, but literally she had 20 more minutes. 20 more minutes on my nails. If you can't make it 20 more minutes without a shot, you need more than therapy. You need to find out what's going on in your life. We've all joked when we've had a stressful day, like, oh my gosh, I need a drink. I can't get a drink soon enough. But we don't actually do it. They actually did it. And, of course, they're hiding because the owner's there, and I'm triggered because I'm the owner. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope that my staff was never hiding doing shots in front of clients, thinking that I wouldn't find out about that. So that's it for today. I hope everyone has an amazing, awesome holiday. I hope you get to be with your loved ones and enjoy each other's company. Be safe. It is ramping up again with this COVID. Luckily, it sounds like it's much milder. It's showing up more as a bad head cold and just annoying enough to make you not be around people that you love for 10 days to 2 weeks. So, do what you need to do. Stay safe. Enjoy the holidays. And I will see you. I think will it be the new year next time? Maybe not. No, I will see you before the new year. I'll see you next Wednesday. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah to the people who already enjoyed Hanukkah. Whatever you celebrate, I hope it was wonderful, and I will see you next week.